Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie and today I am super excited to be sharing Holo Taco's new after party collection. So this collection features 5 brand new glitters and a new reflective taco, all in this gorgeous collection box. The box itself is limited edition, but the polishes are not, so you can pick them up either now or later, depending on if you want the box or not. As always, I will save more of my thoughts at the end after the swatches and comparisons. For now, let's get into the unboxing. So first, let's take a look at the collection box because it is big and beautiful. It has this matte blue bokeh effect all over with these metallic gold accents that really pop in the sunlight. And then when you open it up, there is this beautiful gold holographic star print, I guess, on the inside. It is just so fun and festive. And of course, we have our polishes. So I had already removed them from the unicartons that they come in. They're just these standard black ones. So getting into the swatches, the first shade is Midnight Owl, and I would describe this as a super deep midnight blue, almost leaning indigo kind of shade that is packed with varying sizes of holographic glitters in silver, gold, and I think aqua. I mean, they might just be blue glitters, but it's a really pretty shade of blue. And there's even a purple shimmer in here as well. It might be a little hard to see, but it is such a beautiful detail. Formula-wise, this one was pretty sheer on the first coat, and it was a little bit finicky to apply, but that is kind of expected, just like with the other Holo Taco glitter polishes. They are just super packed, so you might need to do some manipulation to get even application, but for the most part, I think most people would just need 2 coats because this is such a dark shade. But yeah, I love this one. I definitely would recommend a peel-off base coat for easy removal and 2 coats of top coat for the smoothest finish. Next up, we have Curfew Crasher, and this is a muted purpley mauve shade with a yellow to green shifting shimmer, and I think a pink shimmer in there as well. And there's also a very fine scattered holographic sparkle too. So this one felt more like a Crelly formula where it was pretty even coverage on the first coat alone, but the base is still a little bit sheer. It's not super pigmented and opaque, which really allows the shimmers to not get lost in the base. It did have a really buttery smooth formula, so it was super easy to work with and apply, and I found this one opaque enough for me on 2 coats. Maybe if you did thinner coats, you might need a 3rd, but I don't think it's necessary. So even though I mentioned that the whole collection consists of glitters, this one is definitely a shimmer, so it's going to be super easy to remove. The next polish is Starry-Eyed, which I believe Christine had teased as a phthalo green, and this is another micro glitter formula with pops of gold glitters, and there's even some star glitters in here as well. So this basically had the same formula as the first shade, where it's a little bit sheer and patchy and kind of finicky to work with, so it's not super impressive on the first coat. And you can also probably notice that I sadly didn't get any star glitters here. Usually star glitters, because they are larger than a lot of the other glitters, just tend to sink to the bottom, so I ended up flipping my bottle upside down for 2 minutes to see what would come out, and I ended up getting 2. Again, I still needed to do some manipulation to get even application with this one, but it is absolutely gorgeous. Definitely another 2-coater for most people because it is so dark, and you'll definitely want peel-off base coat again too. Up next, we have Bottle Service, and I think I would describe this as a very, very warm golden metallic, or like a very yellow-leaning copper. I know it definitely looks very copper and familiar to some other shades, but just stay tuned. We'll do some comparisons soon enough. But yeah, this one has some gold shimmer and a scattered hollow micro glitter as well. And I found the formula on this one was very smooth and easy to apply. It was really even coverage and not patchy like the other glitter polishes. This one has a much finer kind of glitter. So I definitely don't think it would be as difficult to remove as the other chunky glitters, but I can see this one being a little bit tedious just because they are so small, so they might get stuck to your skin, you know, kind of one of those polishes. I normally don't love super warm golds like this, but I thought this one was pretty. The The next polish is Crystal Skies, and I think I would describe this as an almost muted slate blue micro glitter, and this one has little square glitters, so it kind of is similar to Holo Smoke Show formula, but I don't think this one has as many larger hex glitters. They all seem to be on like the medium to very small size. Again, I had the same experience formula-wise with this one, where it was a bit patchy on the first coat, but it does build up to, I'll say, almost full opacity on the second. The shade is a bit lighter than the other two micro glitters, so I think you can definitely make out some nail line depending on the angle, but I just don't think it was necessary to do a third. You could also sponge on a second layer if you really wanted more coverage. I think this is a beautiful muted blue for winter, but I almost wish there were star glitters in this one too. And rounding out the collection is Disco Dust Taco, and this is a rainbow reflective topper. So reflective glitters don't look super impressive when they're not under flash. I think in some angles of light or even in sunlight, you can definitely get a really nice twinkle effect though. But yeah, applying it in one coat here, you can see it's very unassuming. You can barely tell that there's even like rainbow particles here. It just kind of looks very gray. But once you have it under flash, you can see all of those different colors really come to life, and I think it is just so much fun. It just reminds me of like glowing sprinkles or something. It is just super cute and perfect for the holiday season. So here I'm also layering it over a sheer pink, a white, and a black polish. I think over the white is kind of cool because you do get the hints of color, but again, it really is going to shine under flash because you really see all of those rainbow colors just come to life. I think my favorite is over the black because it just gives me total New Year's vibes. And lastly, I wanted to show the Skittle that I wore with the first 5 glitter polishes from the collection in sunlight and under flash, and of course the same Skittle but with Disco Dust Taco. It was just so fun, so sparkly. I could not stop staring at my nails. And here is the collection lineup. Obviously, I am loving it with all of the glitters and sparkles. It's exactly what I want to wear in the month of December, and these shades are so perfect to carry me through the winter season as well, so I really love these. So getting into comparisons, I wanted to start by showing Curfew Crasher next to Feeling Fiendish. I don't know if it was just me, but I immediately got the same kind of vibe from the shade of purple, but obviously Curfew Crasher is a lot more muted, and I would say maybe it's a little warmer. It obviously also has a ton of shimmer in it too, so it's not a dupe. So if you watched my nail art video, I was using Marsala jelly, so it was like right on my desk, and I thought maybe if I layered it, it can kind of give me that more berry tone that Curfew Crasher has. And then I ended up doing this whole layering experiment, and honestly, the final result is not too far off, I think, from Curfew Crasher, but I don't know if it's worth all the effort. I think Halogen Glow is definitely super similar to the shimmer in Curfew Crasher. Then for Starry-Eyed, I had to show this next to Mooncat's Superclusterfck because it is my favorite green micro glitter that was sadly retired. They definitely have some differences, like they're not going to be exact dupes. Even formula-wise on the first coat, Mooncat is a lot more opaque and very glitter dense compared to Starry-Eyed. But once they're both fully opaque, you can still tell the difference in their colors, where Starry-Eyed has more of that blue, like teal leaning color, and then Superclusterfck is more of like a true pine green maybe. And of course, Starry-Eyed has the star glitters. And finally, the moment that you've been waiting for, here is Bottle Service next to Zyler the cat. That one is a true orange micro glitter formula. I know they definitely can look a little similar here in this shot especially, but you'll see the difference on the nail. And I figured I can also show it next to Zyler Cat Eye that just launched as a part of the birthday magnetics. This one also kind of has a similar vibe to it, where it comes to that golden coppery sort of shade, but obviously they have different formulas, but they are still very different on the nail as well. So here I'm wearing 2 coats of each with Bottle Service in the middle. It's definitely warm, but not warm enough to be a true orange like Zyler the cat. They also are slightly different formula-wise, where Bottle Service has a little bit of a metallic base. So just for reference, I did want to show bottle service next to Cirque's 24K Affair, which I would call like a very true gold metallic. So you can definitely see there is a lot of warmth in bottle service, where it's really pushing the line between being a copper and a gold. Then for Crystal Skies, I of course had to show this next to Frostlight, which is one of the OG holiday glitters. It's definitely more of a brighter blue, and it's not as muted or gray leaning as Crystal Skies. And it's a lot more sheer too. Like on 2 coats, you definitely still see a lot of nail line, while Crystal Skies looks almost opaque. And even on the 3rd coat of Frostlight, there still is a hint of nail line. It does have a very sheer, barely tinted base color, so you're not going to get 100% coverage unless you sponge it on. So because of how gray leaning Crystal Skies was, I thought that Cold Slate might be a better comparison color wise. I mean, I think in the bottle they definitely look pretty similar, but on the nail I didn't find it was as deep or muted as Crystal Skies was, so still not dupes. And lastly, for Disco Dust Taco, I don't have anything like it in my collection. The closest that I have is KBShimmer's Out of Sequins, which is your standard reflective topper. But this one is very, very fine, so I think it is the most comparable to Holo Tacos. So yeah, in 1 coat over a bare nail, you can see there's a little bit more of a gritty kind of look on Disco Dust. It's not as dainty or barely noticeable as Out of Sequins, for example. And obviously when you shine them under flash, you can see the main difference is that Out of Sequins, just like most other reflective toppers, are just like that white silver kind of color, and Disco Dust is a rainbow of colors. It's a little harder to tell the difference on camera, especially when it's in focus, so here is a little out of focus clip, but obviously the main difference you can see is in the bottles. So while I was browsing the Alchemy Lacquer website, I did notice that they had a polish called Rainbow Reflections that pretty much is a rainbow reflective topper. To be clear, it doesn't specify on the website how many coats the swatcher is showing, so I'm not sure if it is like a dainty topper that they did 3 coats of to make it fully opaque or something. But I figured I can show this because it is a couple of dollars cheaper in case you were only interested in Disco Dust. So that wraps up my swatches and comparisons for Holo Taco's new After Party collection. So as mentioned in the intro, the collection box itself is limited edition. So if you do want to grab this, I will have Holo Taco's website linked down below. But otherwise, I would love to know your thoughts on this release. What do you think of this lineup and these new glitters, or the new rainbow reflective topper? To be completely honest, at first, I wasn't totally feeling this palette because it felt just a little bit more muted than what I normally would like to wear around this time of year, or I guess around like the winter holiday season. And I do think a lot of my excitement for this collection was unfortunately soured by the announcement that the holiday glitters are retiring. I know a lot of people are upset about that, but after trying these out and wearing them, I think they are really beautiful. Like, it's just such a unique muted palette, but still has these like brighter pops of color. And so it doesn't really give me specific holiday vibes, but I do get holiday party vibes, which I think nails the theme of the collection. So I do think it is fun overall. And I know there were some concerns about some of the polishes being familiar to other existing Holo Taco shades, and I can kind of see that for sure, but hopefully after seeing the comparisons, you can see just how different they are. And personally, I think these are a lot more different than the similarities we've seen in other collections. But yeah, you'll have to let me know what your thoughts are down below so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.